The overlay is going to be all sorts of screwed up because I did not have time to fix it. So, hello everybody. How are we doing today? All right, doing
Living
that
that sweet, sweet dream.
Oy vey.
Oh, that is all types of fucked.
Yeah, I'm fixing it now. All right. So, did everybody have a good Thanksgiving?
You're also on the incline.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Did everybody have a good Thanksgiving?
It was pretty decent. Only had 3 stops. My mother was surprisingly sober, and I know.
Whoa.
Hidden lore.
Merry Christmas, mommy. Oh, hello, Steve. Bringing the fire already. So your mother was surprisingly sober. Okay.
Yeah.
How was everybody else?
I mean, she was drunk, but she was more sober than normal. So this was like, we're talking a bottle of wine drunk, not a bottle of vodka drunk. But,
take the victories where you can get them, right? So
yes, I'm sure she'll make up for it on Christmas.
Yeah, well, baby cell. Okay, it's not completely wrong.
First, this is employed cell. We covered that before we started streaming. Okay.
I'm very much not employed.
The options were Cell got a girlfriend or he got a job, and not.
Ouch, that one hurts.
We're not role playing that hard.
Okay, listen. Hey, it's even in role play, it's not true. Okay, so.
That's right. It's that brotherly love.
Speaking of role playing, has anybody tried watching Hawkeye yet?
No, I don't have Disney Plus. Actually, I'm leeching off my friend. I have his Disney Plus.
There you go. I watched the first 2 episodes of it. That's what's out so far. It's not good. It's like very not good. It's like really bad. I'm really trying, but like even the fight scenes are done like it's like a CW show, like just really poor like choreographed fight scenes. But like you can clearly tell like the bad guy is like holding her up, and then like he somersaults forward while holding her, and like everything's just kind of jump. And then there's one scene where like she's holding a bottle and it gets like shot, and the bottle explodes, but it's clearly like 1960s TV magic. Like you can see the scene cut. Like it's just really bad.
This is coming from the guy who enjoyed the Green Arrow.
I didn't enjoy Green Arrow. I thought it was.
Whoa,
I thought it was awful.
The Arrow, the CW show had some good seasons.
I watched one whole season of it. I tried to give it, but all it was just lots of shirtless emo talk and girls crying. That's all it was.
Right? There is some good
one whole
episodes.
Season.
That's all I got.
I just, he's like, I'm this badass who happens to also be the most effeminate man in the world.
Don't insult.
It was like watching Ric Flair try to be a superhero. I couldn't do it.
So I have my armor now. I just need to, right? This is a fact.
What's your armor?
The chainmail.
Yes.
Flameforge.
Yes. To be clear, sorry. To answer your question.
Fireforge.
Definitive yes.
Because it's been a week since my.
Yes.
Well, it's been roughly a week since my Kingdom Rolls, and that's about.
Listen, Sel. Nobody cares about your armor. What people care about is that sweet victory Nick had last week. Okay, can we just talk about the fact that I had set that up, so I was going to go in there, give me a little bit of a hard time, but I was going to trounce him, and just like absolutely destroy him, and walk away being like, ha 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 ha. But no, somehow I rolled so horribly. And Nick rolled so Neil that I lost the fight. I didn't just like.
You lost an unwinnable. I mean, like for Nick, an unwinnable battle.
Yeah, I lost I could not.
You know what leaves me a little sore about that whole experience is that Zara got slapped right at the end, right? And I lost fame for winning that battle. I lost fame for winning that fucking battle.
That was weird.
I think that's bullshit.
That's actually fair. Do you not get fame for winning battles like this?
Well, there's aftermath stuff that I don't think we 100% went into last week.
So, no, we didn't.
The Red Baron is frothing at the. Like you could see the froth at the rims of his. All right.
Oh, look at Ano. He's acting all hard. You're baby soft, buddy. I got you. I got your number.
Have you met Ano? He is baby soft. He has a face like cells. He's so smooth. He's so cute. All right. I do want to give you a heads up though. Ano, Steve, and Snaga are in a secret chat together right now.
Jesus.
I saw that. I was looking at that. I was tempted to pop in and spook them.
Oh God. Okay. That's a little frightening. Excuse me 1 second.
Yeah,
please.
Nick won that battle, so his main capital city gets sacked and burned, and all of his people get drawn and quartered. That's gonna be great.
I'm excited for it. And then mine happens next.
Oy vey.
No,
All right.
somehow, Cell, you'll get 7 fortune favors, and the whole world will rally behind you, and you'll become king. God King of the Kijixi.
Excuse me, Snake,
I think
don't
we would all
join them.
support that, right? In the end, would we not all support Tesla as God King of Kijixi?
Yeah, and Densho just opens up a fried corrupt joint, where he's just.
I'm frying the dead Kuchibashi birds.
Oh my God.
They were drawn and quartered.
Imagine you ask an employee to like stay late, and they say no, and they just end up on the menu.
Hey, yeah, the McRib is back.
Right off the ribs, boys.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's terrible.
I mean, that's corporate America. That's what they'd do if they could, right?
Let's see. Let's open up.
They do, just not in America.
Don't you love? I have the ability to ping stuff in our chat now, so we can easily see hiring adventurers and leader capture chances now.
Everybody was listening to you. What?
I know.
I saw a lot more pins I had to scroll past. Oh, I see. Though that I feel like that could have been cropped a little bit better.
Which
Just the numbers, but hiring adventurers part is important. And yes, thank you, sir. All right. All right, so let's go back to the actual winning of the battle, because that was a huge victory, and kudos to Nick. Excuse me, kudos to Nick on the huge victory.
That was mostly chat.
Yeah, they did toss you a lot of aid along the way. So, but this is my first cup of coffee I've had all day, and it was sorely needed. I woke up with a booming headache, and it came back at some point. So yay. All right, so aftermath, victory. Nick, I don't think we actually did the victory bit, did we? We may have already done the victory bit. All right, combat execution, ransom. I don't think you actually were able to collect any of their leaders, so you can't do like execution or ransom or anything like that. Favorite for me. The kingdom of a victorious army gains +1 to either fame or infamy when all enemies or armies are defeated, destroyed, or disbanded or routed, or have retreated from the field. This bonus increases by +1 if a fort or settlement is captured or occupied. The kingdom of an army on the losing side of battle loses 1 fame or 2 points if so you actually gain 1 fame, and you lost 1 fame?
Yeah, so it'll balance out. I took away the fame. I never.
Added the other one back in there?
Yeah.
All right, cool. And then you also are going to gain Shrimstufsh. Where are we? So he already gains the BP from having won the battles, so that's good news. I believe you collected prisoners thus far, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, BP I already did. Thank you, Ano. I thought so. And how many prisoners did you end up collecting?
That was
in the I think 3 weeks ago IRL.
So we collected 20 Kamatori, that is co-owned by Jake and myself, and 2 small armies, I believe we took out. Or was it 3?
I was 3, like more or less scouting forces. They were called. They're called. Is actually a way I would handle this better in the future, but they're called platoons numerically. Hey, Cell.
Yeah.
I actually streamed the other a week ago and went over some details from Complete War. You know, you were talking about how morale should depreciate as the battle goes on. You can actually completely nix that idea if you read the rules in Complete War about
Ultimate War?
So my apologies. Thank you. Ultimate War.
Okay.
About breaking down armies. So more or less like what we're currently calling the word army is not entirely accurate. We should be calling these units, right? When you have like 50 soldiers, 20 soldiers, 100 soldiers, those are units. And then those units can then be broken down into divisions. The way it works is every unit can have up to 5 divisions, but not every commander can lead up to 5 divisions. Anyways, as you take damage, your divisions stop being able to fight as much. And every time you lose a division, you get penalties to things like morale, attack rolls, and so on and so forth. So it actually kind of does what you were talking about beforehand, but in a cleaner and already written in a book format. You know what I mean? Which is nice. The other cool thing is when you're talking about all these different divisions, multiple divisions can exist under one army. Here's the fun part. An army also has a general that leads it. A general doesn't have to be the general, what's it called? Leadership
Of a kingdom.
Of a kingdom, yeah, but it easily could be. And the general of an army puts onto all the units under their command all the bonuses that they can offer. And then the commanders that lead each unit also give their bonuses. So in this upcoming skirmish, let's actually change the map over for everybody. I think you guys are still on the wrong map. And certainly the viewers are. No, you guys are on the right map. It's for viewers. So in this current excursion, I think we completed a level 3 hype train. Woot woot. So in the current situation we have going on over here, you guys have an army effectively that Cell brought over. Because Cell, you brought with you, what, 100 soldiers?
Yeah.
And then 2 groups of 50?
Well, a group of 100 I brought as well from Kagong, and then 2 groups of 50 from Skull, 50 being militia, 50 being proper troops.
And you brought 100 of your own, correct?
Yes. So
you
yeah.
brought 300 soldiers, right? So in theory, if you weren't dividing them between everybody, what you could do is you can say, I have an army of 100 soldiers, and the person leading that army is me, Warlord Tessel Shadow, right? But then the commanders of each of these armies are XYZ, right? With your brother Naito being the commander of one of the armies. So all the bonuses that you can impart onto the units, you do so as the general of the army, and then you would have like the 100, the 250s, and the other 100, right? Underneath you.
Okay.
And that actually works so much better for what we were trying to do beforehand. It's meant to make things a little bit easier, just to finish up this conversation. It's meant to make things a little bit easier because, like, instead of having every unit roll its own initiative, which can be annoying, you have every army roll its initiative each round, which is better. Now, that's meant to be faster because you only have one army going, right? Well, there's 3 PCs, so realistically, there'd probably still be 3 armies, which is better because instead of having Nick roll 2 initiatives, Cell roll 2 initiatives, Jake roll 3, we just have each of you roll 1 to control your armies. Yay. All right, cool.
Yeah. Makes sense.
We'll go into the subdivisions and whatnot later on, but the short version is it actually works out really well. Makes us all really happy. Are all hype trains prior to this session caught up? I believe so. I think the only one we haven't is the new inbound level 3 hype train that just got completed. And Nick, in the aftermath of the battle, you lost 1 fame, you gained 1 fame. So if you want to return the one that you just took away from yourself, you go right ahead and do so. You collected 0 commanders, and you collected a bunch of prisoners that were gathered beforehand. So that is good news. Wow, Anno, I just read your comment from forever ago. I'll see you in Patreon sessions, and we'll see who rolls like shit. All right. Boys, Nick, in the aftermath of that, obviously your actual Narin is going to be rolling in onto the battlefield. We're talking an hour, 2 hours after the victory is had, after the enemies are fleeing, and there's like many enemies have fled, and there's nothing he can really do about that because they fled a different direction than he's approaching. The remaining army that was kind of like left behind that continued to get attacked, as we discussed before, and they got the crap kicked out of them. Would your soldiers have stopped and gathered the remaining force as prisoners?
Yes.
Because I don't think that they were able to retreat. I think they were fully defeated. So you would gather them as prisoners as well? Cool. Wait, no, you couldn't, because your remaining force isn't large enough. You only had 20, and they were 50, and you have to be at least half the size. So I don't think your remaining force is large enough.
No, but people in the 50 army are
and people in the 20 are also
dead. So it probably balances out, and Naran arrives an hour later where they can't really retreat in time.
Well, they would have a few hours heads up, like at least 2 hours heads up. So or an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is. So we can just assume those ones are able to get away. But he already collected the other ones from before, whatever. Nick, you come rolling in to see the ending of the battlefield. Without receiving any reports or updates or whatever it is that's going on, why don't you go ahead and roll me a profession warlord check real quick. Oh, those are all coming back to you, Rosin. Just like last year, they will all come back. And then we need to be a little bit future-proofed soon. But they will always come back. I would never screw you guys out of them.
On my sheet here.
Like, it's one of those things where even if I quit streaming tomorrow, I would still do every one of those back to you. I'm not quitting streaming tomorrow. But I would still do all those back to you because I'm not a trash person. I would definitely give that back.
Plus 20?
Okay, cool. So, yeah, he's pretty solid with Professional Warlord. So this is why you want him as a general overseeing armies, because just the general rolls, and all the armies get to use the general's initiative, which is why there's that general on field button for your armies. But moving on, Nick. So when Naran comes walking up, based off of the little reports that is received here and there of what's happening, Zara's defeat, so on and so forth, as you go rolling up into the area and overseeing the actual battlefield itself, it doesn't take long looking out at the battlefield and seeing like where the carnage is, how things played out, so on and so forth, that you can already see in your mind that things went exceedingly well in the favor of your soldiers. Like you can just tell, you know, the odds, you heard the numbers, you'd seen the numbers. Like I said, reports did come into you. You can see where it was that they had met the armies going to cross. You can see how it was that they had poised themselves to combat the enemies as they were crossing the river, and used every bit of the home turf to their advantage to try to hold them back. But more importantly, you can see the borderline defeated, but also borderline feral soldiers under the command of this lunatic Barbados still standing there, like calling out battle chants into the darkness, like late into the night, after the people that have retreated, like urging them to come back. You know, like one of those things. It's genuinely one of those things where you're upset to see that any amount of your people have been defeated, but you know that they fought hard, they fought true, and they definitely won this day. So there's no doubt in your mind of that. You're going to go riding into the battlefield afterwards. Yes, it has been many hours since Zara was defeated and retreated, so luckily she lived, but she has yet to return as of this point, because she had to fully fall back. As you know that the other army that also retreated, they're also sending out scouts and whatnot that might be able to capture some sort of prize as they're going. We'll handle that afterwards. You go riding into the remnants of the battlefield before. Zara's army is, I believe it was destroyed, right? Because the way that they fight, it was unfortunately destroyed. But there are still soldiers that were left behind under her command. There's still Barbados and the militia that fought for their own home. As you approach the area and they see you with the armies, with the people coming in behind you, needless to say, there is cheers of your arrival. Like actual cheers of your arrival, because Barbados has kept the blood boiling, has kept the fervor high despite the exhaustion and whatnot. There's a fire that is lit, and there are bodies being burned and whatnot of the enemies. But you come riding into this battlefield as they're coming over to meet you. Barbados himself, of course, injured, very heavily injured, but gets himself up to come over and meet with you as well. How do you actually ride into the area with the camp that has not even 40 in it? I think it's got, what, like 30-something people in there?
Right. So obviously we'd become if we're coming in, we're charging in at full speed. And we'd probably circle up and get a defensive perimeter around them. And I would dismount and call for Barbados. And my first question is, where is Zara?
So your first question to the others around that would come to meet you, as opposed to Barbados, who would be coming afterwards. Where is Zara? So one of the others, who you can imagine like a lieutenant or somebody that helps give orders and whatnot, and would look at you. Probably somebody that was underneath Zara's command. So just like an injured, a very injured Karak, would look to you and say, Warlord, Zara, she retreated. We had lost, and she tried to lead a retreat, but even that was broken down. She's yet to return. We don't know if she lives.
Finding Zara's top priority. But make no mistake here, soldier. You were not defeated today. Today we won. That is clear. It had a cost, and you paid it. But we won. And then I'll move on.
Actually, before you do that, before you move on, I just gotta look at your sheet real quickly. Where is Nick? I see Barbara. Oh, that's under other. Where the hell's Nick?
I know, it's like way down there.
Where are you? Oh, okay. That's weird. Oh, is everybody else at the top or the bottom? We should put you guys like literally above other. In your areas. There we go. So it goes like Varix, then Densho clan, and it goes Kushibashi, then Kushibashi clan, and then Akuri. Oh, Nick, have you seen I haven't talked to you in forever. I miss you. Have you seen Cowboy Bebop yet or no?
No, I haven't.
How many years has it been since you saw the cartoon?
Quite a while.
You will enjoy it.
Really, I watched the first episode of Wheel of Time, and as a Wheel of Time fan, I was not happy with the first episode.
Don't watch Wheel of Time. Just don't. Everybody I talk to that likes Wheel of Time, don't watch Wheel of Time. But watch Cowboy Bebop. The casting was, they have so much fun with it. It's so good. But moving on. So, I'm gonna actually have you roll me a diplomacy check on this one. Yeah.
Once more with feeling.
Diplomacy. I need to move my pants.
By the way, Brittany's so sweet. She knew I was going to be cold because like the heat at work was broken. So it was like 62 degrees there all day, which is fine. That's not a big deal. But she has a heater right here and even a small little heater over here going. So like when I got to my office, it was already 68. It's now 72 degrees. I actually better turn one of these off. Or I'm going to be freezing. I'm going to be boiling. 72 degrees down here. Whew. All right, 33. Jesus Christ, Nick. What I want to say is like, just the way that you handled this, the way that the speech that you gave, like the way you talked to them, so on and so forth, immediately afterwards, and all the other soldiers around that heard this, including those that are behind you, it certainly bolstered them. You know what I mean? It's just like the handling of the situation, the way that you're kind of more or less being like, this is a victory, not a failure. It bolsters the remaining soldiers that are left behind, which is important because unfortunately when an army is lost, sometimes people are like, fuck this guy, and they just straight up leave, like full on AWOL, leave the nation. You know what I mean? But back to what you were doing. You then want to go speak to Barbados, and we can handle Zara again afterwards. So Barbados makes his way over, and he's got his big ass maul. And that's what it is, right? A maul? Or is it a hammer? Not a hammer. It's a maul, right? Yeah, big ass maul on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And he makes his way over. Now, Barbados is a tough mofo, but he also has a degree of pride. So as he makes his way over, he's clearly injured. You are not an idiot. You are very perceptive. You can clearly tell that he's injured. But instead of like facing up to the fact that he's injured, he's walking with this iconic little limp that he's got to him, almost trying to like hide the injury. This is probably where he got his little crip walk from. So he starts making his way over to you, having the thing thrown over his shoulder. Making his way over to you. He walks up and he just gives you kind of like a bit of a toothy smile. Like, yeah, this happened. But he doesn't say anything. He also doesn't address you as "Hey, warlord" or anything. He just walks over and kind of like lets you speak first.
Like, oh well, the hammer certainly is not the fist this day. You got to throw the reference in wherever you can. Barbados, I see you have earned your pay this day.
He just does his Barbados laugh. I'm trying to remember how to do it. It's like, Sal, how does Barbados laugh? Remind me.
You're closer than I could ever do.
Come on, Sal, give me a Barbados laugh.
I don't know how to produce those sounds out of my vocal cords, okay?
All right. No attempt. That's fine. Moving on. So he just kind of laughs a little bit, and he says, they earn their 2 coins. He's like, they earn their 2 coins.
Wait, this is not canon. This doesn't add up with the timeline.
It's a reference that always made sense to him.
Well, I mean, he did die in a time double. Who knows? Who knows what happened to him?
Go ahead, Nick. See, I don't role play with this idiot.
They most certainly did. And this was an amazing victory. What can you tell me about their troops? What direction did the broken forces flee in? Where is Zara? That's basically.
Well, yeah, more or less, like you're trying to get a lot of like insight off of Barbados. And unfortunately, I don't have Barbados's. His stats were never filled out over here, so I'm actually trying to load him up on the other one. But if I remember correctly, Barbados is an idiot. So he's actually gonna have very little information for you. Hold on, it's loading right now. Barbados is right here. Loading. Click. Just give me about 10 seconds. I'm so sorry. One second. Just roll 20 so slow. Come on, buddy. All right. I'd say, how about stop with the D20 animations and just make things move faster? That'd be better. All right. So he's actually not a complete idiot. There we go. I had to double check. He actually has 12 intelligence and a 10 wisdom, but he's just very bad at communicating. So that being said, he actually scratches his scruff for a second, kind of thinking, and then he says, "They went off that way," gesturing towards the river. Says, "North, along the river. We were thinking about pursuing, but everyone here is pretty fucked up." He gestures back towards the camp where everybody looks very, very, very injured. And then he, again, scratching the back of his head for a second and says, "Besides, I heard there were trolls that way."
Interesting. Yes. Pursuing would be ideal, but securing the area first is obviously priority.
Yeah, he looked back and said, "Ain't no one coming up this way." Gesturing towards back to your actual town. He's like, "There might be some inside. They could have sent spies in or something while we were distracted this way. I took everyone that was willing to fight. Zara's idea, really. She's called to arms, and ain't no one come to her call. No offense to her. She knows how to throw a fist, but not how to talk at people."
Yes, it seems to be a common trait among my commanders.
He shrugs and says, "I don't know. I
don't hire you for your looks."
He'll actually laugh at that. And he goes, "Well, nonetheless," or he goes, "Still, people came. They fought. They killed."
Oh, I thought you were going to transition his voice to a Vinny real quick.
Hey, Joey. So.
Barbados is Vinny to me now, forever. That's the thing. We changed time. regardless, I'm impressed. Gather the forces, clean up the men. Um, let's secure the city and locate Zara. Did you see what direction she fled in?
He shakes his head and says, "Nah. When she was running, it was pretty bad. The fight was pretty rough still. Granted, many dead at that point. Others fleeing. Things were chaos. We were not meant to fight as hard as we did, but they made it across. We finished it. Listen, she ran, but can't blame her much. They would have killed her if she didn't."
I saw the aftermath of the battlefield. The fact that any of you are still alive is impressive enough. Take your men, hunker down, rest up.
He kind of looks up at you and says, because I imagine you're still in your commatory. He says, "More coming?"
There's always more. It just depends on who and where.
He nods, and smiles, and says, "I'll be waiting." Is that better, Sal? All right, okay.
Yeah, that's closer. That's closer. Next thing you gotta say, he just kills 2 people for a coin.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, so he'll kind of limp back over to where the others are to start recouping or whatever. And there's actually rules for recouping or whatever it is. I imagine because this battle happened not even a mile outside of where your actual. Well, if you think about it, this is where the river is, right? Like the actual battlefield took place on a river, right? So we're talking right upstream from where your actual pier was. So this is not even a half mile away, I should say, from your actual town. So you could easily ride over there to check on the status of the town itself and so on and so forth. But of course, you're curious about where it is Zara is. So if you want to go ahead and pull up Zara's character sheet there, Nick. We have to do a whole sessions. Remember we talked about this beforehand? Whole sessions of just like building armies with the individual PCs and whatnot. Like to me, that actually sounds fun. Like a whole session of individual PC DM numbers management sessions. I'm like, ooh, maybe we could find an extra night in the week. Like maybe once Doxy's thing's done, we should do that on Thursday nights for a little while. Let's just do numbers on Thursdays.
It'd be good to time that with Kingdom Rolls too.
Yeah. I like the numbers. I'm a loser. So
wait. Yeah, never mind. Okay.
All right. So for Zara's attempt to actually get away and not get completely captured by the others, and I understand that she already succeeded, that the army did not capture her. This is against her as an individual against individual little soldiers here and there. So the odds are very much in her favor here because she's not going against an army. She's going against other people that have like retreated or possibly looking to get their hands on some sort of scapegoat or some sort of way of having a little bit of money, so on and so forth. By the way, are you still there? What the hell's her name? Rosin? Rosin, are you there? I'm going to assume yes. Rosin, a couple days ago, these came in, and I have yet to open them. Wait, did Brittany open them? Okay. Apparently, the Angry Chipmunk did open that one. And wait, did she open this one? And apparently she may have opened this one too. That looks uneven. So the Angry Chipmunk did open them, but I have not opened them yet. So thank you again for the chocolate. I genuinely appreciate it. And I do want to say, I've been wearing a wedding band since the day before Thanksgiving, and I've only taken it off for the grand total of less than 5 minutes. So let's see how things go. Back to you, Nick. So for her, if you want to go ahead and roll for me for her, both a hide check. Sorry, you can choose a survival or a stealth, and you can choose a geography or a local.
I see. Geography or local, both are -1. Survival's a 5, so we'll start there. Oh, this is going to be bad. Well, that's a 13 for the survival.
You want to modify that at all, by the way? I don't know if you needed to do that at all.
Ooh, yeah, we should probably do that. Boom.
Okay,
That gets
so
it to a
15.
15.
That's nice.
All right. And then we'll go local.
That came in really late for me. Like you reacted to it before it even started rolling on my side. Anyways, oh, nice. Okay. Okay, cool. Steve actually just dropped those 2 luck that you used, so that works out.
Thank you, Steve.
So this is actually how it plays out. I'm not even going to roll on my side because you hit high enough DCs that I actually don't have to do anything on my side. What ends up happening is when Zara retreats, she doesn't just run away. She's not an idiot. She flees and she tries to gather as many people together with her as possible. But unfortunately, some of them are just like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Because she like led them into what death and disarray and so on and so forth. And there's just absolute bloodshed and carnage, whether because of no respect to, so like actual disrespect to her, or just full on fear, just because fear took over their minds and bodies and they just needed to get away from there, whatever it may be. Or they just didn't notice, right? They just didn't notice that she was calling to them because she's not a super imposing force. Anyways, she gets as many as she can and starts leading them away. She actually also runs upriver. But she runs upriver and she's actually able to, again, knowledge local, how to handle them, so on and so forth. She's able to find her way, picking away from any others that might interact with them. If they notice any of them, a stray shot, whatever it is, to try to keep them away so that they're like all other people that also ran away. Morale is low, panicking, aren't going to want to necessarily re-engage again. She ends up leading them over towards where the trolls are and ends up hanging by the troll area, is able to assert her dominance in these interaction with the trolls, though by no means could she defeat a troll in fight, let alone the 2 of them I think there are. But they're able to recognize who she is because she commands people in this area very often. And so she's able to stay by near there with their overall protection. Zara is actually able to stay safe and keep a couple of the other soldiers that fled away safe as much as possible, etc., etc. She will return back home in... Can I get Rosin to roll me a D4, pretty please? It'll be 1d4 plus 1 days, Nick, is when the it'll return. Oh, Brittany knows she's an angry chipmunk. Don't you even worry about that. What did you do with Cell and where did you find the kid? Cell's legal now.
True.
Nick, you know.
I can go grab some alcohol legally, boys.
Yeah. Nick, you know the old rules. You're 12 until you're 21. He's an adult now. I mean, he can't rent a car, an adult. You know, he can't run for Congress or anything like that, but that's okay. You know, he's an adult enough. Either way, so Nick, you're going to go returning back. Eventually you'll hear back from scouts, but it's not going to be for a while. She's not going to return for 2 days' time, right? So you're gonna go heading back into your town,
Roz.
trying to check up on the status of your town, and you can see that things there have actually held very well. You can see the people in your town have done a good job of like boarding up windows of the various buildings and whatever. And you can see that, I mean, honestly, things went exceedingly well. Is there anything you care to look after here in your town as we are going to move the pendulum forward for 1 day on the actual map?
You know, I don't even know what this town structure looks like. I haven't looked at it in forever. Let's take a peek.
Sure.
Town 2. Nice. It's a barracks, a pier, and a whorehouse.
Yeah.
That is
all the essentials.
That's a town.
Yeah. That is all the essentials.
Your town.
Yeah.
I know. I'm glad I put the whorehouse right next to the pier. Makes sense.
Distract any incoming armies. Like basic commerce covered. Moving on.
Gotta feed the trolls somehow.
All right. So just got that. Anyways, moving on. So is there anything you care to do in the town right away, or sure?
No, I think we're good.
So 1, 2, 3 brings your army here. For where the army is actually located. If I remember correctly, the rest of your armies were heading north and in that direction. So who else? What are, I think Cell was this one, and he was going north this way, correct? Is that Cell? Or is that Jake?
So that's Jake. So the plan was for Jake's army to check in with his city. We're moving to this hill, and then I think we're sitting here and we're gonna wait for Naren to return with information because we didn't want to just start like yeeting ourselves across the map into something that we didn't need to.
Okay. And I have you guys all stacked up where you're supposed to be. So it's after 1 day. Naren, you make it into your city there. This isn't your capital. This is your auxiliary city. What's the name of your town again?
Shinrotar.
I said Naren. I meant to say Varix.
Sorry.
What's the name of your secondary town?
Good question.
He's like, load up, load up, load up, load up.
You could see he loaded the page up because his face went real white.
He got super bright, yeah. He got that Jesus glow going. I think, is he frozen now?
I think so.
Am I back?
Yeah, you are now, yeah.
What timing, right?
All right,
You're
so
really quiet, Jake.
What's that?
You're really quiet.
Yeah.
okay, so Jake, for
Better?
yours, yeah, Nochi, I believe is the name of your secondary town.
Yeah,
So, Nochi, you go riding into Nochi or walking into Nochi with your army, and the people there are kind of, a little bit perplexed that the big army is coming into there. But everything seems to be fine. Everything seems to be dandy and whatnot over in Nochi. It's nice actually to stop by there, check by the stockyard, maybe get your soldiers some food to eat or whatever it is. Give a few of them a moment to rest by the dance. I'm just kidding. They're standing outside of the town, ready to march at a moment's notice. When you pop into the town, you look about. Everything seems fine. Genuinely, everything seems fine.
Cool.
What do you do from here?
What was the plan again? So
You guys, I believe, were supposed to meet right about here-ish, or is it here or something like that? You guys are supposed to be heading over near to Nick's capital in case he needed them, in case he needed you.
Yeah, we're that's kind of the idea. We're just
we were waiting for Nick to return at some point, so I think we're gonna head slightly north, right?
I think effectively for us, sitting in this position is probably better because it gives us the view on these hills. And actually, the militia, the militia army is supposed to be on this hill.
Oh, I gotcha. That's the this little guy. Yep.
So right now we're basically we're in control of this area with viewing, and it doesn't really help us to move forward. So I think we're just waiting for Nick's word, and then I think the idea is we're gonna try to strike the Red Mongols army.
Okay. So
No,
Nick,
because they moved, right?
Well, that's what the force that
They
Nick
moved.
just
They're not
defeated.
there anymore.
We
Yeah.
we don't know where they are. We just know the force that was here.
I didn't think we were gonna
Moved
chase
here.
them because they have a much larger force. That was, but we were
Yeah.
more on the defensive now. Like we can pick off small groups, sure, but charging off, trying to find an army seems
I think
bad
they could
strategically.
easily still be 500 strong, upwards to 800-900
Yeah.
strong.
this is probably a better in-game discussion than a meta
Sure.
discussion.
So why don't you two have that chat in game, because Nick unfortunately is removed. Go ahead.
I assume we have all the generals and commanders and whatnot gathered up.
Well, so you checked on the army. Would you guys be regathering? Like, where is Jake's army going to go that he's able to participate in this conversation?
Well, it's probably another day, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Jake's
saying,
army
another day
come back
later.
up.
So Jake's army is going to retreat back up to the same hills that he just marched down from?
No.
This is why I'm pretty sure, Sal, you guys are supposed to meet up here.
I don't think we ever said that.
Yeah, no, I don't think we ever said that either.
Because
Okay.
that's like the worst position to sit because Vosk is literally a death trap.
Okay.
I thought you guys were going to head towards Shinrotar,
That's what I
and
thought
if they
originally.
weren't there, I was going to meet you halfway.
That's what I
So
thought too.
basically, I was going to run up there, check the pulse. If it was all good, I was going to go back down. But you guys were supposed to be marching on site. You know.
Yeah. So like more or less, you guys would all be,
Um,
if you're heading north, everybody would be meeting over at this hex here, except for the scouts. The scouts would be staying in the scout spot. So you guys would all be like here one more day later. Nick would probably spend this whole day recollecting with his troops to make sure his fucking town is not destroyed, right? And then the day after that, you would go up one more, and Nick would be able to 1, 2, 3 meet up with you another day afterwards. So if you assume another day passes, this day is the day that Nick is, this whole day while you guys are chatting is the day that Nick is taking care of his town, make sure everything is good. And Nick, we're going to go into what you need to do with your town in a second, okay? But for you two, you guys will actually be allowed to have this little chatter now that you wanted to have. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for the sake of everybody else. Go ahead.
And how many people do we have? We have 350 or 300. We have 250, 350 people.
I think 350
right?
with you, right?
And then with Nick, we have 400.
Correct.
As we discussed before, Varix, I don't believe we can let his armies lie. We have to destroy them now. While we're united, while we have a force capable of it. Because if we go home, we will not be able to support each other in times of an attack.
We're still possibly outmatched by double our force. I agree we should continue north and meet up with Nara and see what situation is up there. But to chase them is what they want. What they wanted from the start.
Is what we can do. But if we all go home, if this is what we do, we say we cannot just sit on the hills north of Kabe, Varix.
Oh, I understand. Bait them one thing. How do you propose to do it?
I gesture to me and your forces. Or I assume we have like a map, whatever, we have pieces, you know what I mean?
Sure.
I gesture them. Our forces are slow, encumbered by their armors. A delicious trap for the swift-moving Kamatori and the Red Mongrel's tactics.
Speaking of the Red Mongrel's tactics, if we know one thing about the Red Mongrel, what does he do? He draws you out and then attacks your lightly defended settlement. Kind of his thing, right?
This is true. But what can we do? If we all go home now, defeating these forces...
I'm not saying to go home.
I'm trying to say, Varix, if we do not defeat the main force now, then it can show up at any time, at any one of our cities. And what are we to do? Separated, we will crumble without a doubt. Our forces are not strong enough individually. United, we have a chance in striking down the force, at least for this winter, to end it a bit early.
I'm not opposed to a fight, but I am opposed to chasing after someone who's just running away, leading us further and further away. You want to bait them? That's a great idea. Make them come to us. Make them fight on our own terms, sure. But to just chase after them while we see them in the distance and our men are struggling to keep up with their Kamatori, I think it's a foolhardy plan.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying we first must scout the areas around the hills, figure out where the force is located, and then use that to find a spot, a strategic location that will benefit us, but it won't seem obvious. I'm not the tactical mind that will see the landscapes that will enlighten this plan. But Naren sure is. And I gesture to the other generals and commanders. And I'm sure we have a load of people here that are also capable and can find these spots for us. It'll take a bit of time, but we cannot play purely defensive. We must make the red mongrel think we are dumb. For if he thinks we are
dumb. This,
how
like
do
you said, we don't
propose-
have this experience here. I'm not proposing anything. Naren is really the lead in this situation. It's with his tactical mind that we will have a chance at victory. So we should continue
Up
north.
and out like a motherfucker.
Rendezvous.
Yes, of course. I had no plans of just going now. We were to wait for Naren still.
Yes, but me and you are sitting here with, and he just gestures at the others, trying to plan tactics against army, the Red Mongrel, who we know so little about. I don't think it's the conversation for this time. He looks at Kugong and he says, they haven't had much success, to put it lightly.
No, but they know of his tactics as much as Naren does. They've experienced it firsthand.
All I'm hearing so far is let's chase down a main army that could be twice our size.
That is not what I've said. But if that's what you heard,
that is exactly
so be
what you have said.
No, I've said we should find a spot, a location that will benefit us in a defensive fight.
Well, if anyone's got a Kamatori here, let them start moving out and scouting while we go. And the information is good information.
Yeah, I'm sure we have commentary. So, but I basically want our armies to try to locate defensive grounds.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm flatly opposed to running blindly chasing an army. We don't know where they are. We don't know their numbers or anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't said that. That's my point, though.
Yeah.
So that would be dumb.
Said that,
no, I said once united. So once Nick gets here, we have to defeat the army in like the end, right? Not we have to go now right to the army and defeat it. In the end, like while we have all these people here, we have to fight this army. Otherwise, we're not gonna do too well in the winter.
Yeah, but we should definitely, like you said, the only way we can do it is by baiting them. And if they take that bait and not just, go on down to the nearest town.
Hey, I listen. You can say this all you want, right? But you're the safest right now, okay?
Yeah, I'm aware of that. That's why I don't particularly want to just run so far away. I'm willing to go, which is what I've said a million times, but I'm not willing to. Right? I'm not willing to run across the map and leave my people to die.
Oh, but I'm supposed to go run across the map and leave my people to die.
Whoa, you have an army left behind you. That's
I have 50. We have 50 people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not exactly
over double that one I had.
No, you had 80 or 40.
No, I had to recruit those on the spot.
Yeah, you had 20 militia, 20 army, but the militia is good.
Was recruited on spot.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to continue. And
I guess we go
until we meet up with Nick's force.
Okay. So that would be Nick. So with the rules of reforming an army, let me go back to where I was. Reformed. Hold on. Where the hell did it go? So recovery, reform army rules, page 2. So this is an ultimate campaign, Nick. If you want to open up the pins tabs and open up an ultimate campaign, it's page 246, which I'm almost there. 246. What?
The way armies are recruited is different in Ultimate War and Battle.
No. Actually, Ultimate Battle and Ultimate War specifically reference back to this one book.
Okay.
They actually have no additional rules for reforming. So unless you find otherwise, unless you find otherwise, it should go under this way. So reforming converts a wounded army into a smaller, healthy army. The army hit point rules are abstract and represent wounded warriors, incapacitated, dead units, For an army with very low health points, with a very low hit point total, the number of active units in the army can even be equal to or fewer than those of an army of a smaller size. For example, a large army normally has 200 units, but if the army is very wounded, it could have only 100 or fewer units and be able to fight the same number as a medium army. Because an army's consumption is based on its ACR, which is based on its size, you might be able to recover your consumption costs if you recover an army into a smaller size. Anyways, at any time outside of combat, you could reform a wounded army at half of its hit points or fewer into an army one size smaller with full health points. This act represents you choosing only the healthiest units to continue fighting. The wounded survivors disperse, typically heading home to recuperate. Calculate the smaller army statistics based on the new size. The smaller army retains all of its larger army statistics. There's no limit to how many times you can reform an army. Okay, so that is reforming an army. That's the rules there. When you actually go back over to Ultimate Battle and you look at a destroyed army, if an army is defeated in combat, if it's successfully defeated at least half of its size, defeated army instead is destroyed and ceases to exist as a fighting force. The destroyed army has never. When an army is destroyed, the country takes. With the army. So that is destroyed. What's up?
I don't think that rule applies for this situation. His army was destroyed, not defeated. This is saying if your army, say if you have 100 people in it, and you're
talking about defeated versus destroyed, right?
Yeah, if a defeated army is like low HP, you can convert the army from a 100 size to a 50 size army, basically get it max HP
I think this is what I wanted to check on. So I think Cell is correct. You actually effectively lose that army for good. So that's what I wanted to look into. But for your militia that's staying behind, so that's kept active, do you want to keep your militia active here, the one that's under Barbados, or do you want to disband them as well? Because it's too costly to maintain them.
You muted.
Yeah, I'll disband them and actually have Zara stay back and start building another army.
So forming a secondary army is going to be a different check entirely. It requires different time. So we'll do that afterwards. So more or less, it's one of those, because you are, hold on one second. So because you are, my brain's not working. Because it is that you are leaving here, effectively a day afterwards, I would say that before you leave, Nick, you would hear reports that Zara was discovered, and that she's been trying to recuperate as many people as possible over to near where the trolls are, and that word has been sent that the day was won. And that Shinratar is safe, and for her to return back. Unfortunately, I don't think you're going to stay there for her to return, are you? Yeah. So what orders would you leave behind for Zara before you left?
My orders would be, I'm going to leave here. I'm pretty sure I still have the 20 commatory. I'm just gonna, if Jake doesn't mind, I'm just gonna pay you out half for those commatory, or we can come up with a separate arrangement.
Yeah, you're good with that.
And then I'll just have her to start rebuilding her forces, securing this area. The militia can get disbanded. I want real troops, even though Barbados did fantastic. She's stay here and secure the border. I'm gonna go down and meet up with the main force, and that's pretty much it. And if she feels she needs more help, try to rope the trolls in. So.
Okay. Cool. So we are so you're going to kind of like leave that deal for all that. Getting the trolls involved, that's going to be a little bit difficult, but whatever, we'll deal with that afterwards. So you just kind of like leave those commands or whatever for her, and she can kind of make her decision afterwards as needed. All right. Any questions or anything else, Nick, or are you good to just start heading back?
Good.
Cool. Awesome. All right, let's go. So you, sir, are going to start heading south to the others. This is going to be after one other day. And I believe you were sticking to the plains, not going up on the hill, correct, Sel? That's what you're saying?
We're going on a hill, I think. If we're moving up one more, then the hill makes sense.
Okay. So then everybody, I'll move you all one at a time. Everybody's making your way over to this darn hill. Cell over here as well. The flag up here as well. And it's after this other day, 1, 2, 3, that Nick gets here again as well. So that being said, I had somebody keep track of how long it was going to be until they had their kingdom rolls as well. I think it was Nick, correct?
Correct.
So you're subtracting 3 days from the remaining time. How many days were you waiting still? Wasn't it like 6 or something?
I believe no. It was 7 days. We've spent 2.
That was
This
just
is
3
3
more.
more.
Yep. So 4 more
So
days.
I have 2 more days.
2 more days. Okay, cool.
2 more days, yeah.
All right, cool. Until you do your kingdom rolls. Awesome. And then around that same time, you're gonna also all be paying out your consumption again. So now that you guys actually are all finally fully reformed, Nick, you left orders behind for what's her face. You guys have finally all kind of come to the hill. You have scouts looking out everywhere. You eventually finally hear back from you see the riders of Rohan more or less come to join you in the hills. I'm gonna go pee super fast because I finally had coffee today. While I go pee, you guys can start your RP with one another, and I'll come in and hopefully pick up what you were talking about. Go ahead.
I'm doing math, so someone else start.
I'll arrive. Warlords. Shinrotar was assaulted by a force 150 strong. Zara repelled the force. Unfortunately, the remainder of the troops were able to escape.
Do you know where they retreated to?
Unfortunately not. It was a very pitched battle where a platoon and a force of 40 militia were able to repel 150 mounted force.
They make
More
him
than I could ask
strong
for.
in Kushiboshi.
Yes, the Kuchi is strong.
Naren, you have mind for war. How do you propose we ensnare the Red Mongols' army here?
We need to make them feel like they are baiting us into their trap. They're not going to come to us. That's what they do. That's how they win. They do not assault well-defended positions. They're smart. Their scouts are arguably better than ours. I think we should take our fast-moving troops, try to circle around, get them to feel like they're running away and leading us in, and crush their force. As far as their main force heading up in the mountains, I say let them stay. We find the larger auxiliary force that's meant to lead us into their pincer, and we spring their trap on them early. I think that's our best method.
The only problem is we don't know where they are.
Then we
Not
need to
now.
resolve that.
Have you not already destroyed the force that was meant to be the baits? The troops that were stationed south of Vosk? Are they not the ones that attacked your city? The ones that your men and women, your warriors, have bravely fought off?
That was a force of 150. I think we were told that there's approximately 1,000 troops in our land.
No, but the force southeast of Vosk was said to be 100-ish. That would be that force, the force that was meant to bait us into the valley.
So
They're
then
not
they're
dumb.
heading.
I don't suspect they will have more troops just for us to murder. No.
I
If
think
they've
that-
seen
that-
they've taken losses, they will not continue to try this tactic. They will change.
They'll change targets. They won't change the tactic. This is their tactic.
Do we think they are dull? This tactic has not worked in this battle.
I think this leading commander is going to go back to his general and tell him that their force of 150 got soundedly defeated by a force nearly a third their size.
That was my force that was beaten. I wouldn't retreat back to tell my commander. I don't suppose that'll go over too well for him.
They're either going to try again or hit a softer target. They need an easy win. Where's their next easy win?
If they do not like, if they know of Skull's involvement, it would be my city or Skull's. It is the furthest from our current location, the other end of the valleys. But it is unlikely they will break into Scalding, as I nod to the commander from Skull. The city has the best walls in, I think, southern Kajinxi.
Wow. The Red Mongrel's MO isn't breaking walls, it's leading troops out and crushing them. So where would the next target for that be? Let's take a look at this map. So we slap them in the face. They're gonna run away to the east.
Seems like
that's an easy target. And
his force
where are we?
Probably split up at the moment. Fighting these smaller groups probably be better. Taking on armies of 150, 200, 250.
I find it unlikely that they will continue to be as divided as they have been. After the loss of 150 to 40 men or 60 men, I believe the Red Mongrel's generals and commanders are much smarter than that. If this was a Kuruk clan, I would suspect they might do the same tactics, but they are not going to remain the same. They will adapt. They have been defeated how many times? You killed 3 platoons, and we just killed another army of 150. That is 60.
The loss of the scouts is nothing to them.
But it's 210 men dead, or 210 men disbanded and defeated. No.
The only real loss they've had is the recent one with Naren's forces.
I find it unlikely that luck will favor us for them to continue to be divided as they have been. That is all. And I think it is best not to plan for that to be the reality we will walk into.
No, we need information. So we should send scouts out. If we find any scouting parties of theirs or stragglers from the retreating force up north, we need information. We cannot run blindly into something.
Yes,
that's playing into his hands.
I have not said that, Varix. Then let us. Naren, send your scouts. You're the ones with the Kamitori. But where should we station our army? We must put it in the position to move.
Yeah, we can't just remain
I think we
here either because we learned from the other one.
I think we head east and we range out.
We head east. What are we going to do about Vosk? Do we set fire to it ourselves? Do we approach and let them do it? If we head east,
now might be the time to try to retake Vosk. Can we storm Vosk and retake it?
That seems foolish after all of the warnings. I believe we've been told about Vosk being a death trap.
I think we annihilated all their scouts around the city. I think we know where the traps are.
I think...
Or maybe we approach like we're going to take Vosk.
That sounds more likely. I believe we should just leave Vosk till after we've handled the situation at hand. We do not gain from retaking Vosk at the moment.
Someone
Let's
is watching Vosk.
posture like we're going to take Vosk. Let's see if we can send scouts in even to throw up a flag. I don't care. Let's make it look like we took it. We know
Then we
they're
should-
watching it.
Be in position to strike if there's an army heading to Vosk.
Agreed.
I look to the commanders and like Naito and stuff. Any suggestions, or does this sound as a solid enough attempt for now to gain information if they are still in the hills northeast of Vosk?
Naito responding. Naito, as you know, is always defense-minded. So his response would be along the lines of, I think we have wounded this mongrel and shown to him that this is not the day to win the fight. Perhaps returning to our each of our homes, seeing to our defenses, making sure that none of us are going to be so easily drawn out would be the appropriate tactic. Now, it is possible that he might then regather his forces and attack one of the targets with full force, expecting to overpower them. But with less numbers, it's unlikely that that's the approach he would take, isn't it? Sure, he might win. One of us might be defeated. But at what cost? Is it really worthwhile? Is there enough plunder in any individual home? Certainly the Clan Shadow there would be, but we also have the mountains to keep ourselves safe, and a considerable sized army. And then, what's his name? Urzog would chime in and say, we press the attack. We have them fleeing. We have them on their heels. This is where we bite down, rip, and tear. We make sure that not only do we win today, we win all days. This is the old ways.
Okay. And I assume the other commanders of Kagong and Gaul don't matter.
I think the one that spoke up the
losers.
most beforehand was the one of what is it, Kagong, and they would say, we came to follow to the best of our ability how it is that you lead. I would prefer to know that the red mongrel is defeated forevermore, but then he shakes his head. I find it highly unlikely that that's going to be the case in this one winter. Whatever your choice is, warlords, we are here to see it through.
Again, I say we use Vosk as a trap. We make it look like we're posturing to take the city and see where their forces rear their heads.
Send in Densho and Kushibashi flags. If we are to raise flags, to let them, to try to bait them into the city, or whatever their plan is.
Even if we surround the city or posture against it, they're going to have to send scouts out. They're going to have to be prepared to spring their trap. I
Yes,
want
I'm
to
in
see where
agreement.
they're coming. Let's draw them out.
Yes, you said the way to do this is by raising our flags in the city, no?
Yeah.
By
Either
making-
way, raise flags, or yeah, again, just posture troops outside, lay siege to the city.
Our troops should not enter the city.
No, that's why I said lay siege.
I mean, it's hard to siege a city that has no defenders.
Well, it does have defenders. They're in there. We know they're in there. So we just cut them off.
So let me make sure I'm not insane here. From our information on Vosk, it sounds like there's like some sort of trap, but not like necessarily troop trap. Like they're gonna
No,
fire
there's, like-
fire arrows and shit into the city and burn us with like oils and shit. Not like there's a bunch
What
of
we know
troops in there.
is, or what we were told is, once they see us approaching, they'll set fire to the city.
Yeah. So
Yes. So how are they going to do that? It's either
Yeah,
they
they've gotta
have
be
people
near.
in the city, or supposedly they can just troops can magically pop up and set fire to the city.
That's totally never happened before. I promise you, troops will not magically pop up. That makes no sense in this region.
nice one, Vid.
I'm just trying to give Drake PTSD.
Okay.
Post-traumatic
I see what
Scott
you're saying.
disorder.
Sure.
I think either way, if they see us marching on the city, they're going to get prepared to charge us.
So doesn't this literally play into the trap if they're still watching the city? If they're watching the city, even if we're not in the city, and they just start shooting us with arrows from the hills on all sides, isn't that really bad?
No. So they're expecting us to go into the city, and then they're trying to blow us up. That's it, or burn us.
All right, so I guess we all move into the city hacks, but we're just like sieging the city now. That's like next day. That's the plan.
Don't move into the city hex from outside the city.
Well, no, but to siege a city, you have to be in the hex of the city. The city isn't a hex wide.
I don't think it's going to come to that. We're going to approach the city. They're going to burn it, and we're going to move on.
Yeah, but we're moving into this hex. Though. That's what's happening.
And that's fine. At the end of the day, I'll throw the torch.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry, Hoko.
Oh, Hoko's probably not in there. Let's be real. He's either dead already, all right, or
He was poor Hoko. Hopefully he wasn't gelded.
Oof.
Yeah, he really is light spear after that.
Oh.
you don't got no spear. I don't think. That's so. We march.
Oh God, that's so rough. Oh God.
One day to Kingdom rolls, we walk into the Vosk hex. Do you want us to make scouting checks, Scott?
I just sorry, recoiling from that last one. All right. Sorry. Who's gonna do the scouting?
Well, we all get to make a scouting roll.
So you're all gonna send scouts in.
Well, we're marching the city. We're marching our armies into the hex.
Correct. So you're all gonna send scouts in, because like you can have like two people. You can have like two individual people, humans scout, or you can be like, we're all gonna send scouts in, which is a lot more than two individual people.
Okay, then Naran does it. Okay.
That's
Go
fine.
for it, Nick. Roll your roll.
Which roll am I rolling?
Oh God, they face
My
their
units.
star. I feel like we're gonna play right into the trap with this, but you know.
Well, look, so mechanically they can't shoot us from other hexes, okay? They have to come into the same hex as us. All right,
Yeah.
so don't worry so
But
much about
they'll have the high ground though,
Alright.
because they're coming down the hills.
They're not shooting arrows kilometers away.
Well, that's what you think, okay? Let me tell you
Not
about
true.
crossbow expert, okay?
Hey, well, you know, I've watched troops literally step out of other troops, so anything's possible.
Wait, what?
I just need to reset my army.
How's he talking about?
I don't know.
What scouting roll?
But
am
I always
rolling?
carry on
Armies,
about, you know.
Yeah,
It's just your leadership
doubling
bonus,
armies.
plus any scouting bonus you have, which you might have like a +2 or something for size.
Listen, Jake, you can't talk about the future.
Stop it.
It hasn't happened yet. That's true. You can save Valorant for. Oh my God, Nick, why? This is why I wanted to send more than one group in.
No, it wouldn't have made anything, because if one scout gets made, they all get made.
Well, no, the scouting role isn't. That's not the scouting role. Isn't to get made. The scouting role is to notice other people. Your camouflage role is to not get noticed.
Nick. Seems clear.
Just 2 people die.
They return back. Seems clear. Only thing that they noticed that seems to be fairly noted was at one point there was a bit of stone that's outside of Vosk. It's an area where, like, you know, they've done a bit of like ritualistic stuff happens there. If there's going to be a speaker giving like loud speeches or whatever, one of the leadership or whatever it is to the people, because Vosk is a pretty simple place. As you remember, they were like barbaric before you guys got there and made them
Still are barbarics.
Still barbaric. Barbaric plus Hoko. That's where like somebody would stand on this large rock, whatever it is. It looks as though there's a person up on that rock. But as far as the scouts can tell, whoever that person is, they didn't look like they were moving very much. That's all you're able to get, unfortunately. Scouts will tell you, though, people are moving about. Regular townsfolk are moving there. Seems like the place is clear. Genuinely seems like it's clear.
Well, good thing we're never entering that city. All right.
Who are you, Anno? What you doing, Nick?
Well, the plan wasn't it, so I'll tell them like my scouts returned and they said they didn't spot anybody in the city.
They tell you that the city seems clear, that the people are acting normally, they're behaving normally, with the exception of that one person that is probably a dead person on that area. There's nothing. The people are relatively normal. I mean, like obviously kind of hobbled in their homes, but also moving between the houses and whatnot. Like several people having active conversations in the between the buildings, like actually out in the exposed open, whatever it is. However, people would be able to act or whatever during a time where everybody around them kind of got killed and the army got like slaughtered or whatever it is, leadership, kind of taken. But there's no soldiers that are seen. There's no siege actively happening, and this is the whole perimeter of the town. Like doesn't seem like anything is hidden there, which actually kind of goes in line with what Shala was saying beforehand. There's not that many soldiers inside the place, if any. Obviously, they weren't really able to go into the buildings and like open every building and check, but it seems like there's no soldiers there. This chocolate is so good. Did you guys try it last time you came over? Last time I had it, Nick? Or no? Oh, okay, you're gonna have to try it. It's so good.
Okay, so I mean, we approached on the city. Again, scouts confirmed there's nothing in the city.
And mind you, you have like over 400 people surrounding this place. Like I imagine it's not a full 360 circle, but I imagine like you got like a solid 45 degrees surrounded of this place, kind of like semi fanned out, but not like a thin line, but like in chunks where you can kind of like see each other's groups, so you can wave a flag to give like command or whatever to word to each other, but it's like properly surrounding like, a good portion of this place.
Has there been any check-ins from that group we've got down there? Have they seen any movement or anything?
Nothing.
That group of militia?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Remember, they have the sending stone. Just
yeah.
Okay, so do we scout to the north then? Or
And so they don't set fire to the city when we more or less.
You didn't do anything. You just you kept your distance. I imagine you kept your soldiers like a solid, 3 miles away. Like being in a hex is 12 by 12 miles, right? So it's like 140 square miles or some crap, whatever the math came up to. Because it's a hex, not a circle, right? Not a square, I mean.
yeah.
Whatever it is. You're not in the actual town. You kept a distance from the town. Like one of those things, if somebody's in the town and they're up standing on a roof looking out, like because they happen to have a bit of altitude, they can look out and be like, I see people out there, I think. But not so close that you're actually attacking, engage at them.
Yeah, but so we should start. At least we should take one hill to get vision on these hills. I guess this hill is probably the best one to take. We get vision on 3 hills.
Let's do it.
No, are you guys going to try to like roll out around the actual town? Like, let's just avoid the town in all of its entirety.
Yeah.
Yeah, not entering Vosk at all.
Okay. So you guys are going to do avoid Vosk in all of its entirety and just try to move to make your way away from it. Anybody else doing scouting as you're moving throughout or no?
I'll do some scouting, just plus leadership bonus.
Sure. So you send in from your own soldiers, like one of those things where it's like, you tell your Naito, be like, well, I trust Naren, the competence of Naren's men. Perhaps we should just double check because we expected a little bit more.
Yeah. Also, probably we might leave some extra food for the people of Voss. They're probably struggling.
Okay.
Just 1d20 plus leadership bonus. That's 5. Can't be terrible. That's pretty bad.
Pretty bad. Happy with it?
I mean, yeah.
Okay. So your people go in there, and one of the things that they notice, and unfortunately, you guys are too big of wimps to have your characters see it themselves, but reports will come back that specifically the person up on the hill that's there happens to be, what's his name? It is unfortunately Hoko. Literally pins to the rock, to the speaking stone himself by his very own boar spear. So the thing is unfortunately, kind of fed through his body and pinning him upright with the angle of the stone to allow the weight of the body to go angled outwards enough that it's not just going to slip down. And he's pinned dead to the speaking stone as a marker for all of you as to what had happened here. It is an unfortunate thing, but Hoko is confirmed, absolutely known for a fact. He is dead.
Unlucky.
You guys make your way around over to the other hill, the one that you believed that there would be some sort of armies or whatever it is, kind of like hanging up on before. So just to be clear, I'll just move the flag there for simplicity.
Got to give it vision too.
So you go moving the flag over to there. One of the things you're gonna notice as you move around the town and aren't in it is the scouts that go through the place. So the people, of course, seeing your scouts, they're gonna call out, be like, "Is there no reprieve, no aid? You keep coming and going, but you offer nothing."
That's not true. I said they were bringing in food for some people.
Yeah, some basic supplies or whatever it is. But again, it's one of those things where you bring in
They don't
some
have enough
food.
for everyone.
Yeah, it's not enough for everybody. It's specifically coming from Clan Shadow, who is not one of the two countries that were their vassal lords. You know what I mean? Like, so you can very quickly kind of get the feeling from the people there. They are absolutely furious, like cursing the names of Kushibashi and of Varix. No, not Varix, sorry, Densho, because Densho and Varix have more or less left them there to fester in their own wounds.
Everyone in the area should know that everyone has a free pass into Clan Shadow. That's all I gotta say. Right?
All right. All I'm saying is when Cell Scouts come in, you know that scene in Lord of the Rings in Helm's Deep, and they're all up on the wall, and then you see that one orc with a torch, and he starts running. Okay, that's what happens, and we set fire to the town.
You really?
Oh shit! Really? Why?
Okay. So, setting fire to the town actually is both a good thing and a really bad thing. First of all, who is it that's doing it?
Both of us, I assume.
Oh, you mean like Varix and Naren are holding hands, frolicking down the valley,
burning the city?
Personally, we're not running into the city. There's
shit.
Unnamed orc number 1 and unnamed orc rider number 2.
So it's just two individual people. Okay, so it's Leroy Densho and Jenkins Kushibashi. Gotcha. Cool. So you are sending just literally 2 orcs in there to go and take care of this. This is meant to be a suicide mission, I imagine?
Well, I did compare it to Lord of the Rings torchbearers, so yep.
I mean, because obviously the people that are there are capable of fighting to some degree and would want to fight back to some degree. Cool. Just to convince soldiers to do this, I just need each of you to go ahead and roll me a leadership check. Sorry, I take this back. I meant a loyalty check. This is a basic Kingdom Roll loyalty check. That's all.
I want this to be clear, because I'm assuming Tessel doesn't know this was happening.
No. Nope.
All right. Do you want to talk about it, or do we want to just? It's an aside. All right.
I'm saying it was probably not, because obviously I'd be fighting against you very heavily. I'd be having my people try to get people out of the city, because fuck that. What the fuck?
This is just sending a message more so to the red mongrel than anything else.
Yeah. But you're
And he,
gonna
and
be
my,
he has
murdering
he has his
innocent
advisor
townsfolk
on
that you were supposed to
display
defend.
dead in the middle of the thing.
So you're just gonna burn the people that you were supposed to defend.
Oh, well,
That's a message for the Red Mongrel.
Could have helped. Well, that's a message for the Red Mongrel. You can't take prisoners, and we don't care. All right, so that's what it is.
You see my loyalty button's broken, Scott? I don't know what the deal with that is.
Oh, I'll have to look it up afterwards. Why don't you go ahead and just roll the with your modifier and tell us what the DC is before you roll.
So yeah, but to be clear, Clan Shado is trying to get people out of the city. Once we learn of the burning.
Careful, Cell. This is another spot you overstepped.
Yeah, I think you were pretty overstepping too, right? You're burning.
They left my Hoko pinned to a rock with a spear.
Not Vosk?
Yeah, no, they left him there.
What the fuck is this argument? It's insanity.
You're acting like this wasn't already talked about. We spoke ages about setting fire to the city, not going in there and literally setting fire to it as a message.
I think you guys both beat your numbers, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what the thing was, but
Your DC is your kingdom DC Kushibashi, so yours is double checking. Oh, yours is a 41, Nick.
Yeah, I didn't do it.
Oh, actually, I don't think you can do it. Yeah. Whereas Varix, you beat yours.
Yep.
Yours is a 38. Yeah. So Nick, you actually couldn't convince somebody to go in there. Only Varix could get a rider to go in there, like all in, like to be like, I'm going in to die. You can get riders to go in, but they're going to be very much held back. So that's going to be very different experiences for the two people. So this actually allows me to explain things a little bit differently. Haha. Nick, more or less what happens is Varix's rider is going to go in there and he's going to set fires and do everything he possibly can until, even if others rip him off of his commatory and attack him and kill him, whatever it is, he's going to be all in. Whereas yours is going to go in there, but being, what's the word I'm looking for, pragmatic, is going to find an opportunity to escape if possible, to like full on run away if need be. So that's what's going to happen. Sorry. So you are going to send your people in there. They literally set. So you sell. You're at one point in time. You kind of like one of your scouts says, comes into where you and your brother are and says, Warlord, General, or whatever you call his position.
War Chief.
Warlord and War Chief. There seems to be something happening down in the town. Not too long ago, we saw a rider from both Kushibashi and Densho heading in that direction. And now the town is on fire.
Are we close enough to aid the citizens of Osk? I looked at Naito.
Naito, with you kind of like turning and looking back and seeing what it is, kind of looks and goes, he says, we'd be backtracking by easily an hour and a half's time, if not more. And moreover, we'd be exhausting even more resources to go back there. You don't possibly think this was planned by our allies, do you?
I do not care. We march. Our men will be inspired to help our fellow Kuruk. They will know the call of flames.
He looks to you just to confirm that what you mean, what you say. He sees like that fire in your eye, and then gives a nod and like turns like the commatory he's on to go start walking over towards the soldiers. He's going to start leading in that direction. You start giving those commands, and this is Varix and Naren. You would see from your positions the armies of Shado starting to turn to head back towards the town. But no sooner do they turn, and you looking down and seeing the various buildings down there on fire, then you actually see something very strange happens. There's a moment where as the various buildings are on fire, where all of a sudden there's almost like where all the fire just kind of goes out. And there's like a little happens, almost like a ripple across the area that's there, happens all at once. And you just kind of like, what the hell was that? And all of the fires go out. Not a single fire is lit there anymore.
Oh, you know what that sounds like? Fire ammo that feeds off of pain and suffering.
What? No.
Shit. Send riders to Densho and Kushibashi. Tell them fire elemental may have just been strengthened.
Yeah, I can imagine Verix and Narena together anyway, seeing, probably watching to an extent what's going on, and then seeing that Verix would just turn and say, magic. The red mongrel has magic.
Been reports, though I thought he was supposed to be ice in nature. Either way, let's keep an eye out for troops.
So, do you guys just kind of like stay there and watch what's happening? Do you continue to ride your people forward, Cell? What are you guys doing? Do you just say screw it and keep going back the way that you're intended to do? What's the plan?
No, we're still marching to help Vosk. But I'm
not going to step inside the city. Oh no, what's the first thing?
Well, I was
till
you guys started burning it down, okay?
Okay.
But I want letters to be sent, or writers to be sent to Verix and Naren that this is probably the fire elemental that's been hunting me down, and I think we might have to deal with it now.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that. Eventually, one of the riders is going to come riding back. This is actually specifically Naren's rider. Is going to run back, and he's going to cross paths with your people. So they're literally riding back, and they're going to see your soldiers. They don't intend to necessarily stop by Shado as you're marching forward, but they're definitely going to ride by you. I don't know if you would try to stop them or anything like that, or let them continue their full retreat, because they are full-on retreating.
I would, signal to them to come, right? We need to speak for a moment.
Go ahead and make me a warlord check.
You mean professional soldier check?
That's gonna have to be like an intimidate check then. Try to convince them to stop.
Diplomacy?
Yeah. Excuse me, sir. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind if I inquired about. Shit. You gotta be like, oh, go on. You know.
So it's intimidation, not diplomacy. Oh shit. No,
correct.
Oh, that's a 4. It's 15. I mean, not bad.
Are you happy with it?
Yeah, I think, he's probably gonna come. All right, this is a pretty low DC for a warlord to be getting you over an allied's warlord. You're a scout.
Yeah, no, he saw some shit. He's running. So he's not stopping.
Yeah, no fucking shit. Oh god, what a.
He's gonna keep running back to Clan Kuchibashi. Your army continues to march backwards. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead of the army because I suspect this is something that my army cannot deal with.
So you're gonna.
I will have a potion of magic weapon ready to be, or I guess a oil of magic weapon ready to be shattered to use on my weapon.
So you are individually going up there, you're saying?
We're marching the army, but I'm going in front of it with like a couple people, right? As I think this is like a good 300 feet.
Okay, cool. So why don't you go ahead as you approach, as you get like pretty darn close to town, why don't you go ahead and you personally roll me a perception check, sir?
Oh, I love rolling perception. Oh, also I cannot intimidate people anymore. I'm very scared of this. I'm very worried. Please. That's a good roll.
Are you happy with your 23?
Yeah, I'm good.
So from a good distance away, not like crazy far, but like, a good couple, few hundred feet away, you notice something strange about the various buildings and whatnot that are there. You notice that they all seem to be the same color. You don't remember that being the way for Clan Vosk before when you had visited them last a long while ago, but they all seem to be the same kind of color. More importantly, like the buildings and the roofs themselves all seem to be of what remains from what was burned. But mind you, most of the structures still pretty much remain because it's not like the fires are able to take everything down before this happened, right? The fires burned, did a significant amount of damage, but it's not like it burned through the night and destroyed all the structures. Anyways, you notice that all the buildings and the roofs are all like the same kind of brownish color. You also notice as you get even closer.
Does it look like it's almost all of the buildings are singed?
Actually, you don't even notice the singeing. You just notice this strange kind of like brownish color that's there. As you get even closer, this is where you start to notice that there are areas that's like blackened, that show like there's a significant amount of charring or whatever that happens. But still, like everything seems to be the brownish color. Even the ground seems to have the same kind. Even though it's dirt around, it's this pretty uniform brownish color that you notice as you start to get up to the point where the closest building is only about 200 feet away from you, meaning your army is another 500 feet away from the town total. Ew. Oh no. Anyways, so you I imagine you continue forward.
Carefully.
Okay. You carefully continue forward. As you're getting a bit closer and closer, I'm just gonna look at something.
I'm specifically listening, or I'm looking out for this fire elemental. I'm not gonna go too far into the city, like 150 feet at most. So
Okay.
I'm just going to like the edge of town. I suspect if it's here, it will be coming for me.
No problem. Cool. So as you get closer and closer and closer, one of the things you notice is, as you're walking closer, is make me a sense motive check.
Oh, I love that check too. You know, that's my favorite.
And can I get 3 people in
shit.
chat? Ooh, that's beautiful. Can I get 3 people in chat to roll me a d6, please? Any 3 people
God.
you'd like? And not you count, just the next 3 d6 in chat. Anyway, so back to you, sir. One of the things you notice is that your soldiers around you, they start to acting a little bit funny. You look over at them and you notice like they seem cold, like they're actively shivering. And
Am I cold?
you don't notice it at first because you're not anywhere near as cold as them. But that's when all of a sudden you stop and you're just kind of like, you get a sudden chill come over your body, and even your breath, and you're pretty resistant to cold. Even your breath,
Okay.
you could see like a bit of a mist come out. You got a natty 20 and crits do matter in this campaign, so you actually stop the soldiers from going any further.
Yeah, I would say we probably start retreating because this is not what I thought it would be. So.
You stop the soldiers from going any further, and because you stop them from going any further, they're actually only going to take half damage from what otherwise would have hit them. Now, full damage would have been 11 points of cold, but because you stopped them, they take only half of that, and you take only half of that. Half of 11 is 5, and you have cold resistance 5.
I do, so I take no damage.
Yep, so you take nothing, but your soldiers like, and you're like, what do you say to them as you choose to back up?
This is the Red Mongrel's magic. Leave. As I start walking away, I will cover your retreat.
Okay. So
I tell them to start running while
they
I'm,
turn
like,
and
backing
they
up.
start running back. You looking back over the field again before you trying to see what it is that you see. Go ahead and roll me one more perception check.
Yeah. Hoko comes back to life as a zombie. Raised by the Red Mongrel. It's not great.
Okay. You notice once again there's that uniform brownish color that you see all over the walls of these buildings, the ground around it, the ceiling, the roofs and everything that are there. You don't see any people around though. You see no bodies lying about or anything like that. You just see this brownish color kind of everywhere about you. Whatever this is, you have absolutely no idea, but it is cold as hell over here. Very, very cold over here. And I imagine at this point you're going to choose to retreat and not return.
We'll leave Vosk. If we can, we'll leave a message if anyone's alive in Vosk that they will find aid in Clan Shadow.
How do you leave a message?
I'm sure we have some wood, a placard.
I'm sure these barbarians at Vosk will read that in that fine script.
I'm sure someone can read, okay? Or just an arrow pointing in the direction of Clan Shadow.
So
I'm sure we can cobble something together quickly enough to leave a message for Vosk.
in hopes that somebody finds it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't have magic to fight this. I can't go in there.
So you just leave whatever message you can, and then you're going to turn and retreat. Nick, back home. One of your soldiers comes riding back up to you. He is very, very, very cold. Like one of those things where as he comes up, the commatory literally collapses beneath it. It's so cold and ran so hard, its heart just kind of exploded in the poor little thing's body. But what do you expect? It's not designed to handle these kind of stresses. The thing like dies beneath it as it gets there. Even your soldiers themselves is teeth chattering and shivering and just looking at you wide-eyed and afraid as to what the hell just transpired.
report.
I'm hurting my own neck, tensing up like this. Let me try to loosen up a little. Like we started setting the fires there, but something happened. Something brown started growing on the walls on the ground. It's the fires started to get dimmer, and then as it got close to the people, the people started to freeze, and it would grow faster and faster.
I'll stop him, and then I'll just snap my fingers. Get this man warm, and he needs to speak with Ryan.
And they would go and try to warm them up, and eventually maybe you can have him sent back home or some shit like that. Because Ryan's not with you, is he?
No.
Yeah.
Could we have collected some of the brown powder, moldy shit?
Do you want to go all the way in there?
Well, you said it's on like I was already in the city, right?
You were near it. You never actually got to it. You were pretty close. Don't get me wrong. But like before you even stepped on it, you were like, "Let's go back."
I wasn't feeling too cold. You said I was feeling pretty fine. This fire shield protects me.
I would say you literally were probably within like 15 feet of it when all of a sudden you were like, "Nope," and you turn back.
Yeah. You know, I will do it. I will do it personally, right?
Okay.
I will to have like a jar or something.
As you're sending them back, you probably get like a good like all the way back to the army, and you're like, "Stay, do not advance. I'll be back." And your brother will look at you and say, we'll say, "Warlord, no."
I'd continue going.
Tessel.
Have no fear. A little cold will not harm the warlord of fire.
He grabs a group of 6 soldiers, and they march up another say 200 feet or so. So they're still back 100 feet from where you are, but they move forward. Yeah.
So as I get closer, when I start feeling the shivers, after like my resistances, and I will activate my flame shield, which halves cold damage. Yeah. Basically, I'm pretty warm at this point, as I will then go and try to collect some of.
What do you use?
The fire shield.
Bloop it. All right, let me just read this because I understand it's magical. The spell wreathes you in flame and causes damage to each creature that attacks you within melee. The flames also protect you from either cold or heat-based attacks, depending on what you choose from.
Yeah. I'll turn it off while collecting.
You have to use the warm shield, which
that's the only one I have.
Burns people around you, but also half damage from cold-based attacks.
And I will turn it off when I'm collecting the stuff because I don't want to like burn that shit. I don't know what the fuck it is. So there will be like one round where I am naked, I guess, next to it.
Yeah, so you're definitely going to walk up to it with this on, and then negate it as you kneel down on it, right?
Yeah.
So I don't disable the shield.
How much damage it was? 11, you said? So I took 0. Yeah, never mind.
Yep.
Forgot.
Okay. So you, sir, are going to walk up to it. And again, there's that moment where all of a sudden it's going to be like, so you are going to, as you approach it again, get within that, like, say, 15 feet or so. I'm just going to save time, and I'm going to roll the 3d6 rather than relying on chat.
And do I get a saving throw?
Nope.
Oh, just you take flat damage? Okay, that's not too terrible then. I mean, I guess 36 can be.
You're grabbing it. How are you going to make a saving throw?
I take 4 points of damage.
Actually, no. You take half because of your warming thing.
And
okay. You
so
ignore 5. So you take 0. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you actually take nothing as you walk up to the stuff. And then there's that moment where you like take a breath. And then as you kneel down, you concentrate to dismiss the spell. And then you kneel down on the stuff. You make contact with the stuff.
Well, you said it's on the houses, right?
or the ground leading up to the houses. So you kind of like
then I'll just
to it
like
I'll
have a tool to pick it up and put it in like a jar. I'm not touching it with my bare fingers and shit.
Of course.
Okay.
So this time
I take 5.
This time you actually it's so cold over there. You take 5 points of damage as you're like, oh my God, this is really cold. But more importantly, you take that 5 points of damage, and then you literally see it starts growing around you to the point where it's actually grew underneath your feet and it's now slightly behind you. You continue to collect the stuff. Why don't we do this as nimbly as you can? Go ahead and, are you proficient in sleight of hands?
Yeah, I am.
You can go ahead and roll that.
Not great at it, but proficient. Oh, it's pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah, that's really good. So you actually gather the stuff up pretty quickly, meaning that because you gathered it up quickly, not a perfect amount, but just like enough to kind of like get it inside there, put a
To give it to
stopper on
Lenny.
it, right? And then you're going to turn and you're going to try to retreat from there as quickly as possible.
Fire shield on.
I don't think I don't think you can disable it and turn it on like that, can you?
Yeah, I mean, I get it for 5 rounds.
5 rounds that you can choose to use it intermittently.
I would assume because I can turn it on and off. It doesn't say anything else. I'll look at the item description again, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't say anything.
Where's the item description? Oh, fire
It's,
shield.
Well, the fire shield is the magical effect of the item.
No, I know. I'm aware of that.
So-
But where's the item's description? Do you know? Do you remember what the item is called?
It's Crown of Flames.
1 second. 3.5 Crown of Flames item.
I have it in me and Jake's DMs.
So,
So I always pull
or
it up.
immediate Crown of Flames continuous +2 enhancement bonus once per day would be activated surrounding the sheath of flame. So the fun part is you can activate it, but once again, if you activate it now, you're still being touched by the stuff. I think what you want to do is wait until you walk away. So you're already going to take one more hit from it. Nothing crazy though.
That's fine. I mean, I'm gonna recover this within a day.
Yeah, exactly. So
I don't even. That takes 3 points of damage right now.
once again, 8s you take, what is that? 3. So once again, the stuff continues
Total
to grow a little bit more, and you run away. You know what I mean? You kind of like back away from this, and you're literally watching this grow. But I just need you to go ahead and do me one favor really quickly for the time that you were in there. Could you go ahead and roll me a fortitude save?
Oh. Yeah. Where's that? Charmed Life. I add my charisma to this.
Go ahead, sir.
Easy. 27.
One second.
I got samples to share, boys.
I'm trying to
Samples
do
to share.
Cyber Monday Christmas. I was at work all day, so I'm trying to get this one bit of Cyber Monday Christmas shopping before the midnight rolls around. But like everybody's sleeping because it's after 11, and I need somebody's email address to buy them a 1-year subscription to Roll20. It's my cousin. He's like 22 or 23 years old, and I always want to promote nerddom, but I got him into D&D, and he's like, "Oh, it'd be really nice if somebody got me a subscription for." I'm like, "I'll do that. I'm a Secret Santa." What's Ethan's email address? There you go. All right, cool. Hopefully, my sister-in-law's awake to give me that answer. So, sir, you crush that fortitude save and easily run back to your army. Your brother looks at you with a dissatisfied face, but asks you, "Satisfied?"
I hold up the jar. I think Lenny will be satisfied.
It's very cold to the touch. As a matter of fact, not only is it cold to the touch, you can see it growing inside the jar that you're holding.
That's fucking freaky.
Yeah.
We isolate it, I guess.
Isolate it how?
Well, like, I guess we put it in a bag.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to take it home. Do I feel like the glass is getting more fragile, like more brittle? as
I
it's
mean, it's
cooling?
not that cold yet. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
But absolutely, it is. It is.
I
It is
could send
cold.
I could send the rider with this to Finitaru, though, right?
We
Probably be fine.
What?
Send the rider to my capital.
Sure, you can.
It's 2 days. We layer the shit up, okay? And
Yeah.
we're like, bring this to Lenny as quick as possible.
Absolutely, of course. So you're gonna try to add like a whole bunch of insulation to it to try to keep the warmth away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
To
what you're
keep
saying.
it contained.
Yep. Okay.
So, and I'll meet up with the rest of the armies, I guess.
Yep. All right, cool. So you're gonna go riding back to them. There are other armies are going to be ahead of you, needless to say. So I imagine your army is gonna have to march a little bit extra to catch back up to them because you marched hours in the other direction and turn around to march hours back the other direction. Nick, I imagine you and Varix did not wait,
No.
right? So you're going to be catching up kind of late to the party. When you guys get up on the hill, during the time that you're waiting for him to arrive, the two of you can go ahead and send scouts to look about. This is Jake and Nick.
I'm not gonna send scouts.
Oh my god, Viking.
Oh, it has to erupt. I gotta get my defenses, remember? It'll happen, Copium. Any month now, Copium.
Oh, so you got a Winifred's Wisdom 16 minutes ago. I just noticed it now. Not that you need it at any point in time, but...
It's true.
Okay.
I'll need it for something eventually.
I'm waiting for yours, Jake.
Yeah, I said I'm not rolling.
Oh, you're not scouting?
My people aren't stealthy.
Not a matter of stealth, but okay.
There's nothing to lose for not scout. There's nothing to lose for scouting, basically. It's free.
No, you're good. You're good. He's fine. So, sir, you guys go scouting the area. Oh, mother effer. Just get the hell out of my way. Or is that because this is, yeah. So, anyways, you guys go up there trying to scout the area, trying to see whatever, okay, get this out of my way too. Apparently so much crap is in my way. Trying to see what it is that you can find out in that area. And, unfortunately, you actually do find signs that military has passed through here. Clearly, like there's too many of them for them not to leave some degree of signs behind that they had been here. But you do not find the presence of any scouts, any soldiers, anything in that area at all. Dot dot dot. Dot 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 dot. Dot 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 dot.
What?
Dot dot dot.
Dot dot.
Do we know what direction they left in?
I mean, no. Oh yes, northeast.
They might be retreating. It's been 10 days. It's next Kingdom rolls next day.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yes. I mean, we tried to draw them out. They didn't come. So our options are march to their force or hunker down.
Well, I guess Cell's gonna catch back up with us.
Yeah, I imagine you wait for Tesla to actually rejoin you guys and you can have that discussion. Go ahead. Tesla, would you open up with any words about what had transpired?
Yeah, I'll walk in. It was a magic. I don't know. I don't think it was a magic necessarily. That's consumed Vosk there. I think it was some sort of fungus, a material that sucked heat and grew off of it.
That fits the MO. We knew the city was trapped with some kind of mass destruction. It's unfortunate.
I collected a sample and sent it to Lenny. So perhaps we
Interesting.
may...
I'll be collecting samples as well. There is a ash residue left over in Eldamar from the spawning of the fire elemental that always exudes heat. I wonder, maybe we can counteract one with the other.
That's an interesting idea. We should let us discuss that another time in further detail.
You went down into the village.
To the entrance of the city, about 15 feet.
Like?
It's covered in, as I said, the sort of brown fungus. Some parts of the houses, parts that were burned, were blackened still, but it was like in a sheet of this fungus. And when I approached, as it sucked my heat, it was growing. expanding. It may be a problem we have to contain, or it could grow further.
That definitely is a concern that should be dealt with as quickly as possible. I'm glad we didn't take the armies through then.
We should have evacuated the citizens of Vosk instead of detonating their trap.
And how would you have suggested doing that? You wouldn't march into the city first.
No, but
Don't
telling the
preach with
people,
your cheap words.
telling
Okay,
the
you
people
made
to
no
leave the
action.
city before sending in people to burn it?
You made no action to save the city, and now you have your righteous words after the deed is done. That city was lost. My man was pinned to the rock with a spear. Spare
So
your
you-
words.
Burn the citizens of that city.
They were no citizens of mine.
You can justify however you want.
Ah, yes.
That's all.
Always the good words after
it was-
after the action's already been taken.
I
If it was
didn't know you were
Naito
planning
that
on
had been
burning the city.
stationed there. If it was
You weren't planning to
Naito
do
that had been
anything.
stationed there,
Would I burn the
Tell me.
citizens? No, I wouldn't.
what if those citizens let it just... that they could have been part of it themselves? They
So now
idly
we are
stood
saying
by
they're guilty.
without defending themselves, whilst letting
Ah, yes.
people sent there to help them.
The
be
poor
killed as
farmers
well.
of Vosk should be fighting the great armies of the Red Mongrel and succeed.
They should
These are
try.
not warriors. They did try and they lost. Where were
They
your troops to
did not.
defend them? You were supposed to protect them, no?
Tessel, you are a minor. You won through battle. Your idealism it's not for... You cannot play hero. I know what I am. I'm an animal. Heroes die.
Then I guess I will eventually die.
Either way, you stood outside the city saying that you will not march in.
We will not march the
We made a
troops.
decision. We
No,
made a
there's a
decision.
difference between leaving the people of Vosk and burning the city. No,
No,
Or
there's
the
yes,
same
yes.
thing?
When you leave them, it takes them longer to die. I think you're a coward.
Whatever you want to think, I do not care.
Real
Where have
warlords
the
make
troops
hard
moved?
decisions.
Yes, and I make plenty of them. Just as you do. Does not mean I have to think it's right to burn the citizens of Vosk.
There is no right or wrong. This isn't black or white.
You're correct. And I'm
This was
saying
a
I didn't
decision
think
that
it's
had
right.
to be made.
But I'm not chastising you. I told you I didn't think it was the right decision. But am I to what? Crawl in a corner and cry because you made a decision?
I'm just asking, did you have a decision? You
If I
judge
were-
my decision.
What
If-
I
if
would have
what?
done, I said after we deal with the Red Mongrel's problem, we should help the people of Vosk. That's what I said.
And how long would that take?
Who knows? But is it worth killing all of them in Vosk? For what? Because they didn't choose to fight an army bigger than them, bigger than the entire town, that was well equipped and trained on Kamatori?
No. They died because the Red Mongrel killed them. Okay? They died because that is the life of Karak. Okay? All I did was end the suffering.
If that is what you think, that is what you think.
Yes. That is what we did.
That is what you did. Now, where have their troops moved?
The Northeast.
And what do you suggest?
There are two courses of action. Okay, we march to the Northeast and see what size force that they have. Or we head back to our homes.
Is there harm in marching to the last hill?
there's risk. We could get trapped inside of a kill zone. I feel like we could punch a hole through anything that traps us from behind, but that is all conjecture.
And which course of action do you prefer?
I'm out for blood, so my judgment is clouded.
That's fair.
I say we march north one more across the hills, see across the plains north to the river. If we do not spot them, then we have lost them. And then we return home.
Warlord Barracks.
We will march. I agree with you.
Let's march.
Okay. So you guys are going to be heading towards the actual northeast, correct?
We're marching on this hill and then this hill.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying, is going that direction there. Okay, cool. So clearly, Sally, obviously you catch up as well. We're going to move ahead one more army, and then we're going to once again we're going to stop and have Nick do his kingdom rolls. Nick, I imagine your army is moving slowly. You're just staying with them. You're not pulling ahead. You're not doing anything like that. Okay, no problem,
Correct.
sir. But because of the fact that you're able to move so much faster, you're actually able to get some scouting time in there, which most people do not get to have. So you'll be able to have that, sir.
One thing that will happen that I kind of need to deal with though is Varix, while they're on the march, will ask to meet with Vessel.
Okay.
Yeah.
You go right ahead.
All right, so I guess this is probably during some downtime. Varix will come, and he's alone. So
If
he'll
I'm talking to
find
someone,
you-
I dismiss them. But yeah.
Yeah.
I assume I'm in a
So-
tent with talking to my commanders and stuff, right?
Yeah.
When you enter, I dismiss everyone.
Yeah. So Varix will approach you, and I don't know if there's a table or something, but he'll lean on it, and he'll say, Shadow Tessel, I did not speak to you earlier with the respect benefiting a warlord. In my anger, I say much that I may not have said. Your ascent to power was different to my own, but your ascent was benefiting over Karak. So with that, you have my apologies. Our ways are so different. I just don't understand yours. They make no sense to me. I feel as though it's weakness. However, the way you run your city, the people there, you have their loyalty. So it is different than what I'm used to.
I accept your apology, Varix. And I truly don't take offense to what you say, but I must demand it now. I expect better respect from you in the future. You have stomped on my ways. You have walked over my power. We are equals in this, and I expect that respect for the future. I do not chastise your ways. I defend your ways in front of every single member of my council. because I understand what your ways mean and when you are showing appreciation or apology. But especially after the latest display in my capital, I expect you to respect my ways while within my clan. Is that clear? Warlord Varix?
He raises an eyebrow as you say, "Is that clear?" And he'll get kind of close to you, more like, how tall are you? You're taller than me.
5'7". You're like a little taller than him, I think.
Yeah, I'm a little taller than you, and he like leans in uncomfortably close to your face, and he says, "You are different, but different is not worse."
That we can agree on, Varix.
I will have someone talk with Pete. I think more dialogue between us might be a better use, so we don't step on one another's toes.
Pete is a bit... Something changed him while we were in the north.
How so?
You know, he was more similar to my clan, more free-spirited when he first came. But he's been sleeping with the warriors, which is not too strange of a thing, but his entire demeanor has changed, and I do not know why or what. I just worry about him. I consider him a friend of mine.
Is he fulfilling his duties?
He has fulfilled his duties.
I see. Well, keep an eye on him if you wish, as long as he continues to do his job and serve his clan. Very nods.
I nod to him.
Old Tessel. Our alliance between the three of us is what keeps us strong. One going alone may fall a lot easier than going against the three.
I've always
And
thought
with
it.
that, he'll get up and he'll extend his hand.
He'll extend his, he'll shake. I have long dreamed of a united Kajinxi, of a united South. That is how I built my clan, and that is how I think we will succeed. United, the South will survive and prosper. Divided, it will collapse as it has always had.
A rather grand goal you have, Shadow Tessel.
You must dream big. If you dream too small, you'll
My
never
own lies
accomplish.
to the south.
And I will support your clan to help our brothers in the Barren Lands.
Sorry, my internet broke up. I didn't hear anything you said.
So, I said, and I will continue to support your clan to help our brothers in the Barren Lands.
Gives you a nod, and then he'll just turn to leave. And that's all I had to say.
Do any of you guys also pay for Roll20 or no?
I think I do.
Are you pro or are you plus?
I think I'm pro.
So the full API and everything?
Yeah, I may have dropped it though. I don't remember. It's been a while.
Because I'm talking about this in chat, but the idea was like I pay $100 a year as it is, and they're saying it's on sale for $100 a year for Cyber Monday, and I'm like,
Is it really? Wait, what?
it's on sale for $100 a year for Cyber Monday, but I already pay $100 a year. So how is it on
it's not
sale?
Well, they're just lying. What?
I'm like, I don't get it.
They're lying.
And it's because
Maybe
I
they're
only
lying.
pay for it yearly. It's one of those things where I'm like, it's hard to like go find the charge. So I'm not going to sit here and do that while I'm DMing. You know what I mean? I'm like, I found his email address. I can totally just like click the thing, but I'm like, wait a second. How is this a sale? How is this even a sale? I got an email saying Cyber Monday. You get, it says right here, Roll20 is kicking off the holiday season with our first ever subscription sale
Oh.
starting Cyber Monday. That's right. We'll be trimming our plus yearly subscription to $49.99 and our pro to $99.99. Trimming from $100 to $99. Like, you taking a penny off?
They may have increased the price of Pro because it says it's $110 now,
For
which
pro.
it wasn't before.
So pro, yeah, it used to be $100.
Yeah.
So they added $10 onto the price and then just took it off $10 for.
Well, they may have increased it a while ago.
I don't know. Either way, it's
Weird
stupid.
stuff.
Either way, so back to the game. I'm gonna get him the plus because I don't think he uses it often enough to need the pro, and he certainly doesn't know how to write code. So I'm not gonna give him the API version. If he gets more into it, then maybe next year I'll
Coding
get
is
him a better
dumb.
one.
Only weird people code.
Yeah. Well, luckily he's a nerd and he's going to school to be an engineer, so he probably has friends that write code. So, and his dad does. So, either way, back to you. This is the story of a girl who tried to ravage around the whole world. You guys are going to kind of stop here, because Nick, it's time for your kingdom rolls. Did you guys want to take a quick break before we jump into the Kushibashi kingdom rolls? Take a moment to take a pee or whatever it is.
Sure.
Okay, we can do that real quick. Everybody take a quick break. We will be right back, about 5-ish minutes, and we'll jump right into those, okay? BRB.
Mhm.
I'll load up that screen on the overlay too. Cool.